This episode is about a very new gadget in my life. What could that be? It's my Agaro air fryer. Stay tuned till the end of the episode to know what exactly is an air fryer, how does it work. I'm also going to be sharing out 3 interesting recipes which I have tried on my Agaro air fryer. So come, let's explore. Namaskaram, I am Sujata, an educator in biology and environmental science, a health and wellness consultant and your host on Manchanmal. Do click on the subscribe button and press the bell icon. As I said, personally I've been very skeptical of air fryers. Personally, I felt that once in a while indulging in a bread roll or a vada or a kurkure, bhendi or a pakoda, is absolutely fine when there is a lot of physical activity. But there is a whole lot of population who are battling a lot of health issues and they're not able to enjoy these oil fried snacks because they're not supposed to consume oil. And Lakshmanan has been after me, why don't we explore air fryer? So then at that point, I decided to keep my skepticism aside and try out the air fryer. And here I am going to be sharing with you my personal experience. So today I'm going to be sharing 3 interesting recipes that I have experimented using my Agaro air fryer, and it has really come delicious and tasty. I couldn't believe that it can be so tasty without using oil or using minimal oil. So what's an air fryer? Air fryer is basically a modified convection oven. How is an air fryer different from a typical OTG? OTG has got heating rod, whereas an air fryer has a heating coil, and on top of the heating coil it has a fan which distributes the hot air below, so that the spread of the hot air is even, because of which the cooking time is reduced and things get very crispier. So now let's look at the basic components of an air fryer, in this case the Agaro air fryer. So now here you can see the heating coil, and on top of the heating coil is the fan which is going to be distributing the hot air. Some air fryers come with presets. This one does not have presets. Now the top panel here is showing an indicative temperature for different kinds of food. But in my personal experience, one has to undergo a process of trial and error to achieve the correct temperature and the time for the type of food that we are going to be cooking. So not having preset is not a disadvantage at all. The control panel of this Agaro air fryer is very simple. So basically this is the power button. So you switch it on. By default, it will come to 180 degrees Celsius in 15 minutes. Now you go to this left button and click it once. You can change the temperature. If you want to increase, you go to the plus sign and you increase it, let's say at 200 now. Now this is fixed for 200. Second time you click on this left button, it will go to the time. So then you can either increase it or decrease it. Let's say you want to decrease the time, you go to the minus sign and you decrease the time. So now this is set for 200 degrees Celsius and 11 minutes. So this is set. Now you go to the central button here so that the air fryer starts now. And with this same central button, you can pause this. The cooking in the air fryer basically happens in the air fryer basket. So this is the basket. So basically the inner basket is the basket that will hold our food for cooking. So how do you remove the inner basket is, now this is the handle and there is this covering at the handle, okay. So you just lift this and press this button up and you can lift the basket. Now the outer basket will actually accumulate the spillovers from the inner basket. Now this lid that you see on the handle is a safety mechanism. Why? I'll show you. Because if you accidentally, suppose you're lifting the basket and the lid is not there and you accidentally press this button, this is what will happen. Lid is basically provided to prevent accidental falling of the outer basket. Like we conventionally preheat an OTG, It is also recommended that air fryers are preheated. Now, how much of preheating will be based on your personal experience. In general, approximately preheating is done at 180 degrees to 200 degrees Celsius for 3 to 5 minutes. Come, join me to make 3 exciting recipes in my Agaro air fryer. So now let's look at the ingredients to make our bread rolls. I've taken about 5 slices of brown bread. I've taken 4 boiled potatoes, 2 tablespoons of grated carrot, 2 tablespoons of peas, and the spices. So in spices, I have taken salt, half a teaspoon of coriander powder, half a teaspoon of garam masala, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi, and half a teaspoon of red chili powder. So let's mix all this to make the stuffing for the bread roll. So the base is boiled potatoes. You can use any vegetables of your choice for the filling. You could use grated beetroot or red pumpkins or even sprouts for that matter. It's your creativity. And also it's a very good opportunity to make children eat a wide variety of vegetables this way. So now let's mash the potatoes and make our stuffing. Mash it well. I'm adding the grated carrot, the peas, adding the spices, salt. Give it a good mix. So here our stuffing for the bread roll is ready. So now the first step is to soak the slice of bread in water just for an instant. That's all. That's it. Keep it between your palms and squeeze out the water. Here. Squeeze out as much water as possible. Keep the stuffing in. And roll. And cover the stuffing with the bread. And give it the shape of a roll. The stuffing size will depend upon the size of the bread. So just see that it's nicely covered. So now I'm just going to be coating these bread rolls with oil. Give it a good uniform coat of oil. That's all. So I'll repeat the same thing. You can use any oil of your choice. I'm using cold pressed organic groundnut oil. So here our bread rolls are ready to go into the air fryer now. So before I put the food in the air fryer basket, I am preheating the air fryer at 200 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. So here it goes. The preheating is over, so let's remove the basket to load the food. So before we keep the bread rolls in, I am just coating this basket with a layer of oil. So now I'm going to be keeping the bread rolls into the preheated air fryer basket. So now let me put this basket into the air fryer. So here the bread rolls go into the air fryer and I'm going to be putting it at 180 degrees for 12 minutes. Here it goes. Wow, look at this. They've turned really brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be keeping it for an extra 2 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, there we go. Our golden brown bread rolls are ready. So be careful, it's very, very hot. So I'm just going to remove this. So here's a hot, crispy bread roll. Look at this. So crispy. I'm going to break it here. Hard exterior. Here. See? Steam is coming off. Yummy. So it's time now to taste my air fried crispy bread roll. Let me taste it. Here. Wow. Amazing. So now let's look at the ingredients, how to make our cauliflower pakoda for the air fryer. So I've taken a bowl of chopped cauliflower florets. It's better to have medium to large sized florets. I've taken besan or gram flour. The quantity of gram flour will depend upon the quantity of cauliflower. I've taken 2 teaspoons of rice flour to make the pakoda crispy. 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, salt to taste, and half a teaspoon of ajwain seeds. So now let's make the batter for the pakoda. So I'm adding the besan. Add this rice flour. This is brown in color because it's brown rice flour. I'm adding the turmeric and the chili powder. Salt. And this is the ajwain seeds. Mix it well. So here I'll be gradually adding water to make the pakoda batter. For the air fryer, it's best to have a thicker batter, whereas for oil frying, the batter is more thinner. So here we'll make a slightly thick batter. So sprinkle water gradually. See that no lumps are there. So this should be the consistency. See that, you can see that it is thicker than the regular batter for oil frying the pakodas. Now I will be adding the cauliflower pieces into it. Coat it well. Once the cauliflower is coated with the besan flour, we will leave this aside for about 10 minutes before we put it into the air fryer. So before I put the food in the air fryer basket, I am preheating the air fryer at 200 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. So here it goes. The preheating is over, so let's remove the basket to load the food. I am just coating this basket with a layer of oil. So now it's more than 10 minutes since the cauliflowers have been coated with the besan flour, and now I'm going to put them into the preheated hot air fryer basket. So here we're just going to put this. Here goes the last one. So here I have an oil spray bottle. So I'm going to be just spraying some oil on the cauliflower pakodas. So now the cauliflower pakodas have been coated with a spray of oil. Now it's ready to go into the air fryer. So here goes in the cauliflower pakoda. So switching it on, 180 degrees, let it be the same. Coming to temperature time, I'll set it to 10 minutes. So now we can remove it halfway at any time to check it out. Anyway, at 5 minutes I had removed the basket, turned the pakodas and sprayed a layer of oil on that, putting it back. Now you can see that it is restarted at 5 minutes. So now let's see how the cauliflower pakodas, so see how they look. So I'm going to be keeping this for an extra 2 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. Here we go. So here we go. Here, look at the pakodas. See, can you hear the crispy texture? Here come our air fried cauliflower pakoda. They've really turned out very crispy. Crispy cauliflower pakoda hot out of the air fryer. Let me taste it. Wow. Really yum. I never expected this. So now let's see how to make our bhindi fry in the air fryer. I've taken about half kg of bhindi or lady's finger. First wash it and then thoroughly dry it on a piece of cotton cloth, and I have slit it longitudinally. If the bhindi is long, you cut the bhindi into half and then slit it vertically. So let's look at the spices or the masalas that I have taken. We are basically going to mix all these masalas with the bhindi. So I've taken half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of red chili powder, half a teaspoon of coriander powder, salt to taste, 3 teaspoons of besan or gram flour, and 2 tablespoons of oil. You can use oil of your choice. So now let's mix the ingredients. The most exciting part of this is we are making bhindi fry with just 2 tablespoons of oil. Isn't it interesting? So now let's start adding our spices. So I'm adding this turmeric or haldi, the chili powder, the coriander powder. You can use masalas of your choice, the besan and salt. Salt I prefer putting it by hand so that the approximation is more realistic. Just mix all this up nicely. Let the masalas and the gram flour or besan get coated. It's best to mix with hand. Our spice level is low. You could increase your spice level according to your family tastes. So once the spices are mixed, now I'm going to be adding the 2 tablespoons of oil. Give it a good mix. So once the masala is completely coated, leave it aside for 10 minutes so that we give a little time for the masala to get absorbed into the bhindi, and then we will put it on the air fryer. So before I put the food in the air fryer basket, I am preheating the air fryer at 200 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. So here it goes. The preheating is over, so let's remove the basket to load the food. So now the preheating is over. So I'm just coating the air fryer basket with a layer of oil before we put the bhindi or lady's finger in. And now I'm going to be putting these masala soaked lady's finger into the basket. Now the quantity here is more, so I'm going to be doing it in 2 batches. If your quantity is less, you can do it in 1 batch. So here, taking this in and putting it here, spreading it out. They look delicious, isn't it? It's ready to go into the air fryer. So the masala bhindis are inside. So let's air fry them at 180 degrees for 12 minutes. And midway at around 6 minutes, I will be removing it and stirring it. So here we go. So at 6 minutes, I am going to remove this. Look at this. So we just stir it, and you can see that the volume is reduced, see. And I'm going to put this back now. And the air fryer will start by itself. There. So 12 minutes of air frying for the bhindi is over. See this? See this? Can you hear? Can you hear the crispiness? So I am going to be keeping it for another 3 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius for that extra crispy touch. So our bhindi is done. So look at this. Can you hear the sound of the crispiness? Look at this. Amazing, isn't it? Half kilo bhindi with 2 tablespoons of oil. Now look at this. So crispy. Look at this. Air fried masala kurkure bhindi. Let me taste it, and it's best eaten hot here. And it's so wonderful just as a snack, take a bowl full of kurkure bhindi and relish on it. See? So crispy. I'm loving this. So, what are the positives of using an air fryer? Let's mull over. Do you remember that when we usually deep fry at home, we are left over with a lot of leftover oil, which in Indian homes we tend to reuse it as we do not want to throw it over. And research indicates that this reuse of heated oil is extremely carcinogenic. So one of the strongest positives of using an air fryer is there is no leftover oil at all because we are using minimal oil. So I found that very interesting. The second important positive point is that food does taste tasty with use of minimal oil, and so people who are especially very health conscious, they can enjoy these snacks without having to feel guilty about excessive consumption of oil. The third positive came up as I am researching on the use of air fryers, that it is very effective in stir frying vegetables, baking and a lot of other possibilities, which I am going to be experimenting with my Agaro air fryer, and I will be sharing those experiments with all of you. So, having seen the amazing possibilities that an air fryer can offer, are you inspired to try out air fryers? If you are interested in picking up an Agaro air fryer, we've given the Amazon link to order this air fryer in the description box below. Did you like this episode? Some of you may already be using an air fryer. So, if you have seen success with air fryer and you have your favorite air fryer recipes, how about sharing them with me in the comment section below? And don't forget to click on that like button and share this video with your family and friends. Happy air frying! Hey, have you subscribed to Munch and Mull? Do click on the subscribe button and press the bell icon to receive notifications of my newest videos uploaded every Saturday.